Good morning, children. Today we will study about the examples of natural selection. In our previous class, we studied about the theory of natural selection, that is Darwinism. In this theory, we studied that in the struggle for existence, only those individuals survive which adapt themselves according to the surroundings, or in other words, which are fittest for the competitive environment. Therefore, nature selects and gives a chance to survive only to those individuals which are the fittest, and others are discarded by nature and they vanish. This is what is called natural selection. The phrase survival of the fittest was first used by Herbert Spencer. In this way, only the fittest individuals reach adulthood and multiply to produce their progeny. So, we will begin with examples of natural selection. Darwin mentioned the following examples to support his theory of natural selection, and the first was the long neck of giraffe. The long neck of giraffe can be explained on the basis of natural selection, he proposed that ancestral population of giraffe was represented by two types of individuals, some with long neck and the other with short neck. When vegetation disappeared from the ground due to some major catastrophe which occurred due to the prevailing environmental conditions, the individuals who had longer necks than their fellow giraffes could easily reach higher branches and were able to feed on the leaves. As a consequence, these giraffes were reproductively more successful than their small necked counterparts. Therefore, giraffes with longer necks survived and those with small necks perished due to competition. Okay, so if we take into account this example of natural selection from the view of Darwin, so this says that the longer necked giraffe could easily reach higher branches and they were able to survive, feed on the leaves and were therefore reproductively more successful. Second comes resistance in mosquitoes for pesticide DDT, dichloro diphenyl trichloroethane. When DDT, it is an insecticide that is used to kill insects, especially mosquitoes. When this DDT was first introduced as a pesticide to control mosquitoes, it was tremendously successful. But now it has become completely ineffective. Why? Because in the original population of mosquitoes, small number of mosquitoes were already resistant to DDT. So there were two populations of mosquitoes. One were DDT sensitive and the others were DDT resistant. When DDT was initially used, what happened that DDT sensitive mosquitoes, they were killed, and that remaining small population of DDT resistant, they remained unaffected. This small number of DDT resistant mosquitoes became larger with time and therefore almost all the mosquitoes now are DDT resistant. So, principle of natural selection thus here helps us to understand why chemical insecticides remain useful only for a very short period of time. Now the next is sickle cell anemia. Now this is another example of natural selection, and in some person there is a variant form of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is an oxygen binding pigment that is present in the RBCs, and in some people this variant form of hemoglobin is present, which is responsible for a genetic disorder called sickle cell anemia. Genetically there are two alleles, HbA and HbS, which control the type of hemoglobin. Now, a homozygous person who has both the alleles, if he is having HbA also and HbS also for defective hemoglobin, dies at an early age, while a heterozygous person which has a defective and a more normal allele, HbA, HbS, would survive. But in such a heterozygous person, RBCs become sickle shaped. You know, RBCs are oval in shape, but they become sickle shaped. These persons are resistant to malarial fever. Why? Because the malarial parasite Plasmodium vivax cannot survive in this sickle shaped RBCs. Therefore, these heterozygous variants are found at places which are highly sensitive to malarial attack. The sickle shaped RBCs do not allow malarial parasite to grow and complete its life cycle. So, natural selection maintains this defective form of hemoglobin along with the normal form in a region wherever malaria is common. Now, another very good example of natural selection is the industrial melanism. So, there are peppered moths, Biston betularia, with dull grey color, and it was abundantly present in England before the Industrial Revolution. Okay, peppered moth, Biston betularia, and it was dull grey colored, and before the Industrial Revolution. So, before this Industrial Revolution began, this peppered moth, which was dull grey colored, was abundantly present in England, and a black colored form, Biston carbonaria, of the same moth was very rare. You know, moths look like butterflies, but butterflies, when they sit, they make an angle of 45 degrees. Moths, you know, they sit with both the wings spread at the same angle, forming of 180 degrees. So that is the main difference between moths and butterflies. So this Biston carbonaria was black colored and Biston betularia was grey colored. Biston carbonaria, which was black colored, was very rare. The grey moths rested on tree trunks that were covered with light colored lichens, which provided an easy camouflage to them. Like when they sat on the trunk of the trees before the Industrial Revolution began, so what happened? Okay, the trees, they were all dull grey colored, so they used to, you can see in the diagram also that the tree before industrial melanism, you can see there are two types of moth. The first is grey colored one, so it got concealed or camouflaged with the oak trees on which it was usually found, and the other one, which was black, was easily blended, was easily detected by the predators, especially the birds, and so the population of Biston carbonaria began to decrease. So before Industrial Revolution, dull grey colored moths easily blended with the grey background of tree trunks, and these black moths were visible to predators on the background. When the Industrial Revolution came and a large number of these industries, they started, so what happens, there was large scale burning of coal, and whatever smoke was produced, it got deposited on these tree trunks. Lichens also disappeared because pollution was there. Therefore, tree trunks which were dull grey in color now became black in appearance. So what will happen now? If they are black in color, black moths will now get concealed, or they will get camouflaged with that black tree trunks on which this due to Industrial Revolution the soot of the smoke had deposited. Therefore, tree trunks, they became black in color, and in such conditions now what you could see was the grey moths. Now grey moths could easily be detected on a black background, and they were visible to the predators. The black moths, on the other hand, became blended with the tree trunk, and they were not susceptible to predators. So there was an increase in the frequency of black moths while decrease in the frequency of grey moths after the Industrial Revolution started. Conditions again became reversed when coal was replaced by oil and electricity, and industrial melanism thus clearly suggests the role of nature in controlling the population of two types of moths. Then another important example of natural selection is antibiotic resistance in bacteria. If an antibiotic is used for the first time, most of the bacteria are killed because they are sensitive to that antibiotic. That means all the sensitive bacteria will be killed. However, some of the bacteria survive because they have a gene which provides them resistance against that particular antibiotic. Like there are both antibiotics sensitive and antibiotic resistant bacteria. So sensitive will die and the resistant ones will survive. These bacteria, the resistant bacteria, continue to reproduce inside the patient's body, and in this way now even the descendants of these bacteria become resistant to that particular antibiotic, and this is an example of natural selection due to adaptation. Before we begin with the criticism of Darwinism, let us quickly revise the main postulates of Darwinism. Like, first was overproduction and enormous fertility, struggle for existence, heredity and variation, survival of the fittest or natural selection, and origin of new species. Now, this Darwin's theory of natural selection or survival of the fittest was criticized by many workers such as Owen and Sedgwick, and on these certain points these objections were raised. First was inheritance of small variation. Darwin stressed more upon inheritance of small fluctuating variation, which in fact were non-heritable and they have no role in evolution. Second was presence of vestigial organ. Darwin was unable to explain the presence of vestigial organs in some organisms. Somatic and germinal variation. Darwin was not able to differentiate between somatic and germinal variations. He considered that all useful variations are heritable, and you know somatic variations cannot be heritable, only the germinal variations. So he was unable to differentiate between the two. Use and disuse of organs. Darwinism also does not explain the effect of use and disuse of organ. Then origin of the fittest. Darwinism stressed only on the survival of the fittest and considers that unfit and fittest are together present initially. With the environmental change, unfit get vanished and only the fittest survive. The theory does not say anything about the origin and arrival of the fittest. Like it is saying about the survival of the fittest, but it does not say anything about the origin and arrival of the fittest. So that was one criticism that was raised over Darwinism. Over specialization of some characters. Some characters like the tusk of elephant and antlers of deer have developed so much that instead of being useful, they are providing hindrance to the possessor. So this theory does not explain such over specialization. Then degeneration of some characters. Darwinism also does not explain reduction and degeneration of some characters. For example, the ear pinna of elephant is very large, but it is reduced in man. Then Darwin considered individuals as the unit of natural selection. But according to modern biologists, population is the unit of evolution. So these were some of the criticisms that were raised against Darwin's theory of natural selection. With this, we complete this theory, and in our next turn, we will study about variations and theory of mutation. Thank you.